Hello everyone and welcome to another one of Dorset and Guernsey's mini demonstrations. Today I would like to demonstrate to you a very simple design done in this lovely urn. This urn I bought back, it was when I competed in the Nationals at Bournemouth. So that is going back a few years now. Into that I'm going to put a square round. And today sometimes I use biodegradable oasis, sometimes I like the black. But I'm using the black today and I think it sits quite nicely within the black urn, and when it comes to covering my mechanics, being black, it will disappear. So I'm going to start off with some lovely Fatsia leaves. I can't put claim to these Fatsia leaves, these have come from a friend's garden. I had a telephone call to say, Liz, I've just cut down my Fatsia. Would you like some nice large Fatsia leaves? So I never turn anything down. So she said, can you put a bucket of water out on your doorstep and you'll just find them on the doorstep tomorrow morning. So that's what I did. And I've still got a few left, so I think it might be out with the glycerine to they're glycerine lovely, they come out lovely and leathery and a beautiful sort of golden, if you catch them just right they will go sort of a lovely strawy golden colour. So I've just put a collar around the top of the container using the Fatsia leaves. Now I'm going to start adding the sunflowers. And here we have the sunflower. And the sunflower is a member of the Helianthus family, and it's a very clever flower or plant. So when it's actually growing, sunflower, its name sunflower comes from the fact that it follows the sun. But it only does this up until the point of maturity, and when it matures it will end up facing to the east. I don't know why the east, but maybe there's a reason. So I'm just bringing a line of the sunflowers down through, trimming off some of the big leaves because I want quite a clean line to this. Having the sunflowers with such big stems, I have to make sure that when I come to put them in, I put them in once because I won't be able to make too many holes in my oasis. I've actually put 5 in there to start with. And I think being quite a big, strong flower, it's strong enough just to carry the weight of this container on the bottom. And then I'm going to use one as my focal point. I'm actually going to remove some of the leaves. And go straight into the centre. Take a little bit more of the stem off. And now we have just the 5 sunflowers. To take the darkness and bring the darkness of the centre of the flower through and the darkness of the container, I'm going to just add a few phormium leaves from the garden. This phormium, I don't know the name. It's one of those that, you know, when you're at a flower club and someone brings a pile and says just help yourself. Well, it's help yourself. A lot of the plants in my garden have come from friends or when I've been to flower club and you know, there's on the sales table, not everything has a name to it. I'm just cutting it with a point and then just inserting it into the oasis. So actually when I brought it home and went to plant it, I actually divided it up into 2. So I actually have got two plants in the garden. because it will divide. I think it was some ones that had grown so large that they wanted it. They started dividing it and they just brought all the bits they chopped off to Flower Club. And there was a label on it, help yourself, so I took some and brought it home and cultivated it in my own way. That's a few of the dark phormiums gone in. And now I can just see a little bit of my mechanics in there. So this is the lovely Tom Thumb Pittosporum. Now I thought the dark, I don't want any colour down there. I want it dark, and I want to give the arrangement a bit of depth. So into that, just to cover my oasis, I'm going to put some the darkness of the Pittosporum. That's one thing that has actually now grown in the garden, and I'm able to cut from it. Although I've now got 2, and we're planning on putting a few more to make a feature of them all together in the autumn. Been busy through lockdown clearing that out and making space, but I haven't done much planting, especially now when the warm weather's come along. I must probably leave a lot of the planting till the autumn. And I want to put a few more Pittosporums in. And I'm going to go into the back with a little bit more dark Pittosporum. This has been quite a simple design, quite a quick design, but I hope it's inspired you to think, well, you just need to buy just a few flowers in the supermarket and you can certainly do something with them. Make a design. But also, while we've been sat, I'm going to do another, as this hasn't taken me very long, I thought perhaps I would also share another idea with you that I have sat and thought about during lockdown. So I'll turn this round so you can have a look, and that was just something that was inspired with some very first of the English sunflowers. So as that design didn't take me many minutes, I thought I would show you another very quick design. And this was inspired by a friend gave me 2 of these beautiful spheres just before lockdown. And we've actually had them on the rug in front of the fire. And I've been studying them to how I could use them. She thought perhaps I could mount them on poles and all sorts of things, but I came up with an idea which I thought would be quite nice. And I'll just talk you, it's basically I'm going to talk you through it. So in tubular repeater style, I had 2, so I'm going to take that one away and bring one that I've started working on. And I've actually added to the design some little tiny horseshoe test tubes. Now, how I've mounted them onto the sphere is I've taken the wires which can be tightened with a ratchet. These wires are actually bought for securing potato bags, and you take the ratchet. Now, for safety reasons, I have put on a pair or a glove, because these are glass. I've done all these and I didn't have any accidents, but just remember, if it shatters in your hand, it could be nasty. So I'm going to lean over my towel, and with my ratchet, I'm just going to pull it several times. Till it tightens around the horseshoe. And then, in true Blue Peter style, we'll take off the glove, and then I just took a pair of pliers, put it on the wire and bent it. And I've used those to just hitch into the pieces of wood. That was quite time consuming because it isn't, as it's all natural, it didn't actually have necessarily the holes in the right place. So I've actually done that for you, because as my kids would say, to stand here and watch me do it, it would be boring. So that's what I've done, and I've tried to sort of, where possible, just take my little horseshoes and I've just tucked their tails in rather than have their tails tucked out, so they're all keeping within the sphere. And then I've added some of this beautiful little variegated ivy. Again, I don't know the name. It was one that I bought with my daughter at a school fete. I just bought 2 or 3 little pots for 50p each, and we have actually planted up one area to make a bit of ground cover, and from there I took some more cuttings because it just roots itself down, and now we have 3 lovely little areas in the garden. And something else that I'm very, very proud of, they're self-seeded round the garden, and I transplanted them, and they're ready for my new demonstration, or my demonstration entitled Miss Potter and Friends. So you can imagine who they're for. I've got some teasels growing, and I'd just like you to see those when you're out in the garden. Now, just to finish this off, I've just got a few of the Phalaenopsis orchids, or commonly known as the moth orchid. Oh, in the tubes, they have already got their water in them, and I've filled them with my nice little easy bottle. And then I'm just going to place the orchids, and I just thought these lent themselves. I have taken some already off the plant. This house plant is one that I've had and is now on its 2nd flowering. I brought it back into flower, so I was just a couple of flowers short, but I do actually happen to have another house plant, so I have taken some of them off of another house plant, but just adding them into the tubes. Some of them haven't got very long. It's a little bit fiddly because nature's got a way of its own of some of them like it in a certain place and sit better, and I think it's the way I think this is possibly driftwood. I'm not quite sure. It didn't actually say anything on. There was a label on them, and it didn't actually say. But I've sat and looked at these balls, which we've had down by the fire, and I thought how to use them, and I just thought this was a golden opportunity for me to actually do something with them and to share it with someone else. Because I'll be able to enjoy these at home afterwards. So I took it out on a demonstration. Unfortunately, someone's going to come away with nothing but a few orchid heads, and I know some people get a little bit disappointed with that. So this is something I can sit and enjoy at home. So it's just saying, if you've got something I think you need to, and you're not quite sure how to use it, I think you need to sit and have a look and study it. Now, I thought I had 11 tubes on here, and I seem to be not got, and I thought I had 11 heads, but maybe I didn't. I can't see an empty tube anywhere, so I'm just going to lift that down. And I hope the camera doesn't pick up the one empty tube I haven't managed to fill. And I'll just turn that round, and that's a little bit of inspiration onto driftwood bought spheres that I have been given. And I hope you've enjoyed this little demonstration, and I just apologise about the haircut. It's now still in lockdown when this is being filmed, and not in total lockdown, but the hairdressers aren't back. So maybe time we all catch up with each other, we will all have our nice haircuts back and life will be a little bit different again. So can I just leave you with that, and thank you very much for watching. Take 2. Did you spot my mistake? Test tubes. I've been calling them horseshoe. They are actually seahorse test tubes.